been a year of Riyadh season since the first fight on the 28th of October 2023 between Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury, and we're here today to run through the top 5 fighters from the last year of Riyadh season. So let's kick it off with number 5. Number 5 is Anto Cacace. Came into Riyadh season as a bit of an underdog under the Queensberry Promotions and Frank Warren banner, but he's had a terrific 12 months, becoming a world champion for the first time and defeating a couple of notable names. First of all, he turned the fight on his head against Joe Cordina to get a knockout against the now former super featherweight champion. He then went on to defend that title against another former world champion in Josh Warrington at Wembley on the undercard of Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. He's now a household name not just within Northern Ireland but within the UK and the world after appearing on 2 massive cards in Riyadh season, and maybe there are more world titles just around the corner for Cacace in 2025.
He did. Look, he's had a bit of a stop-start career. He could have been more busier. That was basically down to him. But the facts of life are he trained in his training camp went 100%. He was a big underdog, in with a very good fighter with Joe Cordina, and he bossed the fight. You'd have thought he was a champion. I'm not being disrespectful for Joe, and he bossed the fight from the beginning, and 2 knockdowns, and it was a great stoppage for him, and I'm pleased. I'm so pleased for him. I'm so pleased for his own hometown and Northern Ireland and Britain. We've got a great champion. He's a very, very good quality champion.
Man, I was happy to see him get a dub, man. I was happy to see him get a dub, man. Cardina had been he was keeping that belt hostage. You know what I mean? He was keeping that belt hostage, and I think what's her name would be willing to fight anybody, and I think he wouldn't mind the unification.
Coming in at number 4 is Hamza Sherz. Of course, a Riyadh season ambassador and a fighter that's really grown up over the last year or so. He's always had that height and reach advantage over lots of his adversaries in the middleweight division, but this year has been a real productive year for him in the ring. First of all, a victory over Amo Williams on the 5v5 Queensberry versus Matchroom card earlier this year, getting the late stoppage after grinding down Williams throughout the rounds. He then backed that up with a win over Tyler Denny on the Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois undercard, a destructive win, getting it done over the reigning European champion in the first round after Denny had previously defeated Felix Cash in Birmingham around 10 weeks before. It's a big year coming up for Sherz, and world titles have to be the aim, but let's see what everybody had to say about those 2 victories.
And it was good. It was a good fight. Massive respect to Amo Williams. He brought the fire. He brought the fire. And I'm blessed, and it was an honour to share the ring with him, to say the least.
There's no surprise that Amo brought the fire. He's a game man and came to win. What was it early on that was giving you trouble?
It wasn't so much trouble. I was adjusting. I underestimated his strength and power. And then when he caught me, I thought, oh shit, here we go. I thought I wobbled a bit, and I thought, all right, cool, I need to switch on a lot more here. Went back to the corner, and then Ricky kind of said, put your head back on your shoulders and do what we've been working on in the gym. And that's what I done.
Oh, he done it with that classic punch on the top of the head, which had kept someone in the first round, and they lose their equilibrium. I was only talking about that last week about Daniel when he fought Kevin Lorena. It's that type of punch. You've seen that happen quite a few times, and he's very good at doing that. Especially his height helps, because he's a shorter guy, and he punched down on him, and he done his job, and he never recovered from that.
So why are you going to fight a contender like Hamza Sherz, who can punch like a horse kick, who's massive at the weight, will almost certainly knock Eubank out? Well, I would fancy Hamza Sherz massive in that fight.
In at number 3, we've got Nick Bull. It didn't start so smoothly for Nick Bull out in Saudi Arabia, claiming a draw with Ray Vargas, a controversial draw it has to be said, with many, including Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, both believing that Bull was the winner on that night. But he bounced back in fantastic fashion with a win over Ray Ford on the 5v5 Queensberry versus Matchroom card in a fight of the year contender, with many thinking that Ford did nick that fight, but Nick Bull getting the nudge on this occasion. He's since backed up that win with a win over Ronnie Rios back in Liverpool and hopes to defend and possibly add to that world title in 2025.
Exactly that, championship rounds. I'm a champion. I've always been a champion. I've trained like a champion. You know, that's all we know, and now I am the champion. So that was my mindset going in. I'm the champion. This is the championship round. Let's see who wants it most, and you know, it was going to take something else to beat me in there tonight. So,
The man here, the best featherweight in the world, he's here and he's going to show everybody what he's back about, making his homecoming after two magnificent performances in the Riyadh season. And there's back-to-back fights in over 10 weeks, was it? Roughly 10 weeks. I mean, at the highest level. Got robbed in the first one, but done the business in the second one and rightly got the decision. And
coming in at number 2, we've got Joseph Parker, who's really rebuilt his career on the Riyadh season shows with wins over Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder. First came the win over Wilder in December 2023 on the undercard of Anthony Joshua and Otto Wallin. And it was a shutout win, really, for Parker on that occasion. One judge in particular scoring all 12 rounds in favour of the New Zealander. He then went on to beat Zhilei Zhang, doing so in gritty fashion. He was down in rounds 3 and in round 8 in that fight, but rallied late on to take the decision win with a majority decision. The world title's cool for Joseph Parker in 2025, but with the Fury-Usyk rematch on the horizon and Daniel Dubois holding the IBF title, we all hope that he will get that deserved world title shot.
how it keeps changing, how things keep turning round. People think that certain fighters are finished because they've had a defeat. Joe's turned everything round, was it now? 5 on the spin?
Yep.
5 on the spin. Really fantastic wins and a fantastic win tonight.
You know what? It doesn't frustrate me. I do want those fights, but I'm just, to be honest, I'm just practicing patience. And whatever fight they put in front of me, I'll take. I'll fight anyone. And I just have to keep proving that I know that I'm the best. And that's whatever they put in front of me, I'll take it, prove myself, and move on to the next one. So I do want to be involved in these big fights, but eventually it'll come if I take care of business.
I would have Usyk, Fury. I know I probably would put AJ third, but again, you know, if you're looking at what people have actually done recently, he looked great against Wallin and Ngannou, but is that better than Joseph Parker beating Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang? And you'd have to say no. So if I was going to do it via my own method, I would probably have to put Parker above Joshua.
And in number 1, could it be anybody else but Daniel Dubois? A terrific 12 months for the 27-year-old heavyweight, starting off with a 12th round knockout over Jarrell Miller on the Anthony Joshua versus Wallin undercard. He then went on to defeat Croatia's Filip Hrgović in an upset win, in which he dominated Hrgović in the last couple of rounds to break the heart of the former number 1 contender, before completing the job with a win over Anthony Joshua just last month, September 2024, having AJ down 4 times and eventually getting the stoppage to defend his IBF crown, which he picked up after his win over Filip Hrgović. There's big fights calling for Daniel Dubois in 2025, whether it's the rematch against Joshua or a potential unification / undisputed with Usyk and Fury. Here's what everybody had to say about the year that Dubois has had, including Triple D himself.
Yeah, that wow, that was you know, it's just all, sometimes it doesn't even feel real when I'm in the ring. It's like a movie and it's just playing out, and then just got to go with it. And you know, that said, go and finish the job. I got, okay then.
Well, everybody's going to be hunting for Daniel Dubois because he looks so easy to beat, but in reality, when you're in the ring there with him, he's got the best knockout record in any current boxer now. So Daniel Dubois, does he do a rematch? I don't know if there is a rematch with Anthony Joshua if he decides to box on. Does the likes of Tyson Fury get in with him? You don't know, or depends on how Tyson goes against Usyk. But Daniel Dubois, you've got to look at him. He looks easy to beat, but is he? Are we overlooking? Actually, he's a talented kid that's just been ignored at 27-year-old. His style suits a young man, and so for him, he just loves to fight. He'd have done that for nothing.
I don't think he could have boxed much worse tonight, but you have to give Dubois brilliant, plenty of credit. He was brilliant tonight. He put the pressure on. We knew that he'd be dangerous in the early part of the fight, and the start couldn't have been worse, really. AJ will believe that he can box much better and beat him, but Dubois is going to be full of confidence. And we have to look what happens on December 21st.